Welcome to the video. If someday you bump into a friend who is wearing the same t-shirt as you and you share your birthday with him, is it a coincidence? But to say that this friend was born in the same hospital where you were born and the only difference was that his room number was 102 and your room number was 201. Is this a coincidence or some cosmic connection we don't have the ability to understand? There are just too many things that happen at the same time, but some events are so closely linked together it's spooky. Here are some coincidences that will shock you. The separated twins with the almost identical lives. A set of twins from Ohio who were separated at birth grew up without any knowledge of each other's existence. Their lives did, however, share a number of strange similarities. They were both named James on their adoptions, they both grew up to be police officers, and both of them married women named Linda. But that's not all. Each had a son, one named James Allen and the other one named James Allen, and each also had a dog named Toy. Both brothers later got divorced and both ended up remarrying women named Betty. Did Edgar Allan Poe have a time machine? Some people think so. How else could he have known about an event almost half a century before it happened? In his book called The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket, the author describes how four sailors who survived the sinking of their ship were forced to eat a rather unfortunate cabin boy named Richard Parker. Although Poe claimed that the story was based on real events, that wasn't actually true. 46 years later, however, a boat really did sink, and the members of the crew who were rescued were forced to eat a cabin boy in order to survive. The cabin boy's name? You guessed it, Richard Parker. Mark Twain predicted his own death. Did the famous writer Mark Twain predict his own death? Well, if he didn't, then it was a major coincidence. The writer was born in 1835 when Halley's Comet was passing the Earth. It only passes once every 76 years or so, but Twain predicted that he would die on its next passing. I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835, he said in 1909. It is coming again next year and I expect to go out with it. The writer died on the very day of its appearance in 1910. Coincidence or reincarnation? The founder of the Ferrari company, Enzo Ferrari, died on August 14, 1988. Just a month later, on October 15, Arsenal footballer Mesut Ozil was born. Take a look at their pictures side by side. Massive coincidence or proof of reincarnation? You decide. The Dutch cyclist who escaped two plane crashes. Believe it or not, Dutch cyclist Martin de Jonge has escaped not one but two major plane crashes in his life. Not only was he supposed to be on board missing Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 before deciding to take a flight that departed an hour earlier, he was also supposed to fly on Malaysia Airlines Flight 17, the one that was shot down over Ukraine in 2014, before changing to a different flight in order to save money. The double tragedy on the Hoover Dam. 112 deaths were associated with the building of the Hoover Dam, but there's a strange coincidence between the first and the last men to lose their lives during its construction. The first man to die was a surveyor called George Tierney, who drowned in the Colorado on December 20, 1922, while looking for an ideal place for the dam. The last man to die, Patrick Tierney, George's son, who also died on December 20 in 1935. The first and last soldiers from World War I. The first and last British soldiers killed in the First World War are buried in Belgium's Saint Symphorien Cemetery. Their graves are located just 6 meters apart and their headstones face each other, which is a major coincidence considering that this arrangement wasn't at all planned. All the survivors of the ship tragedy had one thing in common. December 5, 1660, a ship sank. Only one person was left alive and his name was Hugh Williams. December 5, 1767, another ship sank. 127 people died, but one man survived. His name was Hugh Williams. August 8, 1820, a picnic boat sank near the river Thames. Only one person lived, and his name was also Hugh Williams. July 10, 1940, a British boat sank. Only two people could escape, a man and his nephew, and both were named Hugh Williams. Tendulkar and Virat Kohli share the same pattern of scores. The coincidence between the god of cricket Sachin Tendulkar and the rising star Virat Kohli is hard to believe. In the year 1999, Sachin had completed 1000 runs against Australia in the 19th over in the 5th Test match in Melbourne. 15 years later, Virat Kohli too completed 1000 runs against Australia in Melbourne in the 5th Test match and that too in the 19th over. They both were 26 old when they achieved this feat and they both were playing with an MRF bat. The man who couldn't escape lightning even after his death. During the First World War, there was a British Army major named Summerford. During a battle, lightning struck him and his legs got paralyzed. Then he moved to Canada, where while fishing he was again struck by lightning, which made the right part of his body useless. It took him 2 years to recover. In summer, he was walking in the park when lightning fell on him again. This time he was completely paralyzed. Major Summerford died 2 years later, but he couldn't escape lightning. 4 years after the death, his grave was again struck by lightning and it was damaged. I hope you all enjoyed the video and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.